Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Mary Ann. That was beautiful. My name is Reverend Dr. Kathleen Johnson. I'm the spiritual director of Center for Spiritual Living, Delaware, an amazing community. I'm in love with this community. I'm in love with this teaching. And so I welcome you this morning to our circle of and our atmosphere of love and compassion and wisdom. And I invite you to do, and also the other thing that's important is to remember that no matter where you are in your spiritual path or what your background in spiritual teachings have been up to this point, you are welcome here. We are an all-inclusive community, and so we celebrate you, and we are so grateful that you're here with us today. So I invite you to join me in this high invocation to get ourselves even more prepared. I know Mary Ann prepared us so beautifully, but even more prepared for our service today in order to be fully receptive. So just repeat after me. I am that I am.
I am that I am.
Beloved God presence that I am.
Beloved God presence that I am.
Is moving through me and as me.
Is moving through me and as
I invoke the divine presence.
I invoke the divine presence.
To fill every cell of my body with light.
To fill every cell of my body with light.
To surround me in a pillar of light.
Surround me in a pillar of light.
To fill all of my affairs with light.
To fill all of my affairs with light.
I allow the pure light and love of the divine.
I allow the pure light and love of the divine.
To flow from me and move me.
To flow from me and move me.
To be of highest service.
To be of highest service.
To all life.
To all life.
I joyfully bring love and light.
I joyfully bring love and light.
To all who enter my field of awareness.
To all who enter my field of awareness.
Knowing that my light.
Knowing that my light
contributes to the enlightenment of all.
Contributes to the enlightenment of all.
Let's accept the truth of this with a powerful yes.
Yes.
And so it is. Beautiful. So I would now like to introduce to you our beloved and very creative Deb Chamberlain Wynn.
Good morning, everyone. CSL. I'm cherishing these last two services on Zoom before I see you in person. So, Mary Ann, that was a beautiful meditation. You are such a rock of compassion and faith, so thank you for starting us off that way. I wrote this song about 8 years ago, and it's called Listen for Love, and I think the world could use a lot of listening for love right now. So please think about yourself or someone else or a part of the world as you listen to these words. Thank you. I hear you cry behind the door. Dreams all crashed upon the floor, wondering what this life is for, what is real, what is true. When the questions pile up, when the stars crumble to dust, when the sparkle turns to rust, what will become of me and you? I know not where, when, or why, and only God knows what. In my ear, an angel whispers, listen for love, listen for love. I wake up in a darkened room, my eyes squinting in the gloom. A sense of heavy-hearted doom wants to lull me back to sleep. But in my dreams we meet again, the embers of a long-lost friend. I pray it's not too late to mend all the vows we did not keep. I know not where, when, or why, and only God knows what. But in my ear, an angel whispers, listen for love. Listen for love. Hear love glisten. Oh, just listen. I know not where, when, or why, and only God knows what. But in my ear, an angel whispers, listen for love. Listen for love. Listen for love. Listen for love. Thank you so much. Thank you all. I'd love to bring back Marianne. We both have sunflowers.
Okay, so good morning again. I am Marianne, the platform practitioner for today. So I'm going to lead us in an opening prayer in evocation. So I invite you to close your eyes if you like or not, but get centered. Join me in a deep breath, connecting with spirit at the point of the breath. This one presence, one power, one life. That is God, that is life, that is universe, that is spirit, that is source, that is all that is. And that is good and very, very good. And if God is good and God is all there is, then all there is good. Every situation, every experience, every circumstance, no matter how it may appear, it is all good. It is all a blessing, all an opportunity for growth, for greater expression of true self, for greater expansion of consciousness. That's what it's all about. That's why we're all here, why we stepped up this morning and showed up, whether literally showing up or keeping our cameras off. But we are here. We are here to make a difference in the world, make a difference on this beautiful blue-green jewel of a planet. And it starts with ourselves. And I invite you, I did this in my meditation, but I invite you to just make a gesture of compassion towards yourself, of caring towards yourself. Could be a hand on the heart, two hands on the heart. Hold your hand and put them on your belly, maybe a hug to yourself, a hand on your cheek. Whatever to you is just a gesture of kindness to yourself, because it starts with ourselves. And we are God individualized. I am God having a Marianne experience. If I'm not loving myself, I'm not loving God. I'm not loving that inner light that is the truth of who I am. This wholeness, this perfection, this completion that I am. That everyone on this planet is an individualized expression of the one God. This life animating force that gives life to my limp body, that otherwise I would just be a corpse lying there. This life animating force is God. And it's the same life animating force in every single person on the planet. The same light and truth and beauty and love and peace and joy and faith and goodness. Always present, omnipresent, 100% present in every single moment. They don't go anywhere. Everyone on the planet born with the full measure of all God qualities that cannot be destroyed, cannot be taken away, cannot erode. They can be hidden. And our job is to release all those barriers to love. Release any veils, any walls, any blockages. Just let them go. Let them go. I invite you all with me right now to imagine you're in a boat and you're just throwing it all overboard. Let it go. I don't need it. Lighten up that boat, full of love and peace and joy, light, high vibration frequencies. And breathing that in. I'm so grateful for this service today. So grateful for the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, that is a beacon of light illuminating the path for all of us and for everyone in service today. So grateful for Dan and Michelle behind the scenes, for Deb's uplifting, inspiring music, for Kelly doing the reading and Virgie doing the announcements, and Reverend Kathleen Johnson, who is just a wonderful, willing vessel for Spirit to speak through and as her. We are so blessed to hear the word of Spirit coming from Reverend Kathleen's lips. It's a blessing. I'm so grateful for all of it and everyone behind the scenes in service today and every day that make all of this happen, this community of support and comfort and love and encouragement, peace and joy. So grateful for all of it, and knowing that the service today unfolds absolutely perfectly in its wholeness, completion, and perfection. And I invite you to join with me saying a vibrant yes, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. And next we have our wonderful Virgie.
Thank you, Marianne. Thumbs up if you can hear me. I always want to make sure people can hear me. Awesome. Well, good morning. My name is Virgie Cooper, and I'm going to be your host today. If you're joining us for the first time, please let me know in the chat so that I can go in and personally welcome you and make sure that you get on our newsletter list. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time on Facebook, our very own Sharon Bousquet will be reaching out to you. Now, I'd like everybody to follow along with me as I read out loud our intention statement. We, the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, are an inclusive, welcoming, vibrant, ever-expanding spiritual community rooted in New Thought, ancient wisdom principles. We are here to be the presence of love, co-creating heaven on earth, a world that works for all. Yes. And now for our announcements. The Board of Trustees has set an intention to return to in-person services with live streaming on Facebook on Sunday, June the 6th. That same afternoon will be Yorkland Day beginning at 12 p.m. And artist Sally Petrillo will be selling 35 of her paintings at the CSL Delaware table that afternoon, which is taking place in the CC Arts backyard. She will donate half of the proceeds that she receives from the sale of her pictures to the CSL Delaware House Band Fund. All right, Sally. So we are seeking volunteers to help us with indoor cleanup and to prepare for our return. If you would like to help, please join us on Friday, June the 4th. We'll be there from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Any amount of time that you have available to help will be greatly appreciated. So remember, many hands make light work. CSL Delaware, in partnership with the Association for Global New Thought, is celebrating the Season for the Earth, which takes place from April through June. And we are devoting to making caring, spiritually motivated choices that heal and nurture a thriving and healthy planet during this time. Information and tips for honoring the earth are being featured weekly in our newsletter. This week, we're spotlighting something called the Story of Stuff. It's really cute. It's a little video. It's a 20-minute, fast-paced, fact-filled look at the underside of our production and consumption patterns. When you watch it, and I'm sure everyone will, it will teach you something, it will make you laugh, and it just may change the way you look at all the stuff in your life forever. May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Every year at this time is an opportunity to learn about the diversity within the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities and how deep their connections are to all facets of American history. Our newsletter has a link to stories airing through the public broadcasting service known as PBS, spotlighting the lives, heritage, and contributions of our Asian American and Pacific Islander brothers and sisters. The next meeting of the Regional Men's Group is tomorrow, May the 17th, which is also Tax Day, just in case anybody forgets. But that meeting is from 7 to 9 p.m. This is a group of spiritually centered men committed to helping each other along the path of enlightenment while exploring different ways of living an authentic, spiritually centered life. To participate, you can send an email to Mike. In the chat, I've put his email address in there for those who may be interested in doing that. And all you need to do is to put men's group in the subject line. Due to the Memorial Day holiday weekend, the Synergy Circle, which generally meets on the fourth Friday of each month, will be meeting this Friday, May the 21st, from 7 until 8:30. It's a really fun group. We're working on mandalas right now. If you have some time, I really would invite you to come and join us. The last thing I have to share with you this morning is a minister, thought leader, speaker, and author, Reverend David Alt, will be our guest speaker on May the 30th, and musician, singer, songwriter Marcy Baruch will be our guest musician. I remember when we were back at Woodmill, that Presence is Here song. I love that song. Apparently she's in that song. I love that song. So I can't wait to hear her on the 30th. So please make plans to attend to hear her as well as Reverend David Alt. For details and Zoom links on our activities, visit the CSL Delaware website under the Get Involved tab or the CSL Delaware newsletter, which is sent to us through our email. And now back to the songstress of the hour, Deb.
Thank you, Virgie. Beautiful. So many awesome things going on over there at CSL. This next song, I hope you all sing at home, John Lennon's Imagine, and let's really imagine this right now, especially with what's going on in the world. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know someday they will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know someday they'll join us, and the world will live as one. It's true. Oh, I get to bring on Kelly. Kelly, I love you, Kelly. Light us up.
Callie, there you
We
go.
are so blessed. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you so much, Deb. I love you too. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly. I'm your reader today. And the theme for May 2021 is Holy, Holy Uprising. The topic for today is This Too is God. Our first inspired reading is from David R. Hawkins in his book, Power versus Force. In this interconnected universe, every improvement we make in our private world improves the world at large for everyone that lives, for everyone. Simple kindness to oneself and all that lives is the most powerful transformational force of all. And Michael Bernard Beckwith wrote in Spiritual Liberation, in God awareness, problems dissolve because there are no real problems. In the mind of God, there are only perfect patterns of existence and divine ideas. Let us affirm together with God awareness. I have no big problems. I tell my problems about my big God. That's awesome. And now it's my pleasure to reintroduce the joyful and beloved Reverend Kathleen.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. It was beautiful. All right, Holy, Holy Uprising. I love the theme this month. And today, this too is God. This too is God. I know we often ask that when we know this truth about the oneness and the wholeness of God, and that God is omnipresent in every spot, right? And yet when things happen that throw us off base, we ask ourselves, this too is God? So that's what our topic is today. But I want to begin with a story. This is a story where the alarm went off one Sunday morning, and the husband bounced out of bed, got ready, started getting ready for the day, and said to his wife, "Good morning, sweetheart. It's time for you to get up and get ready for church." And to that, she responded by pulling the covers over her head and mumbling. And so he sits down next to her and he says, honey, come on, you really must get up. We're going to be late for church. To this, she replies, but I'm not going this morning. And he said, what do you mean you're not going? You have to go. And she says, no, I don't. I'm tired and I don't want to go. And besides, no one will miss me. And also no one pays any attention to what I say anyway. And I think there are people who don't even really like me that much. To this, her husband responds, well, honey, I can give you 3 really good reasons why you need to go to church today. First of all, people will miss you. And second, they do listen to you. And finally, you have to go. You're the minister. So I tell that story because, when I think about getting up on Sunday morning for myself personally, I am enthusiastic. I can't think of a day that I did not want to get up. And why? I have 3 really good reasons. Actually, I have more reasons, but here's 3 really big reasons. The first is I love you. I love you, my beloved community, each and every one of you. And I love what we are doing together to co-create heaven on earth in a world that works for all. So that's number 1. Number 2, I love what I do. I love having the opportunity to spread a spiritual truth that has transformed my own life and that I have witnessed transforming the lives of others since I began in this teaching back in 1990. Yeah, I've been in it for a long time, and I've seen a lot of change in people's lives over those years in different spiritual communities that I've been part of. And then the third main reason is that I love Centers for Spiritual Living, the greater organization that we belong to. I love that they provide us resources, online opportunities to gather information and to grow in consciousness. I love that they continue to update our curriculum and offer new things. And I found out there's another new class out that's just all about spiritual mind treatment. And they're becoming more aware of what's going to be supporting people who have very busy lives too. So the more recent classes require less reading, and actually you do most of your reading and that kind of thing during class and the activities during class. So, I mean, I love that we are continually on the leading edge of what is important to transform the root cause of all the issues on the planet, which is consciousness, dealing with the cause. So let's go back to this idea about this too is God. It's always important to begin at the beginning, which there is one ultimate reality, one source, one life, one presence, one power that goes by many names in many different languages. And yet it is the one life, the one source that I call God, but I also call universal mind and infinite intelligence and love itself. That presence, because it is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, that means present in its totality everywhere, which kind of blows our mind because our 5 senses seem to tell us that everything's separate. And yet we know even from the studies of quantum science that this is an interconnected, unified field of one universal mind in which we live, move, and have our being. So it's not just the mystics that are saying it, the scientists are realizing it as well. So everything then is created out of that one substance, that one energy, that one intelligence. And so the unmanifest world and the manifest world is of that one, And so, yes, all that's taking place around us are manifestations of God. And here's the thing, this is what sometimes throws us off base, is Signs of Mind, our spiritual teaching, teaches that because there is only one divine life, that we are pure spirit, we are made in its likeness and image, we are the intelligence that we use is the one mind, universal intelligence, omniscience, that is omnipresent. And our nature is love. And at the same time, we are given free will. We're given free will, and our senses can kind of trick us into thinking things are separate and that there's me versus you, or all of these scenarios that we've seen played out in our lives. So what happens then, it is our ignorance of our true nature, that idea, thinking that we're separate, getting fearful that somebody might get our stuff. Virgie was talking about our stuff. Well, that's one of the things that happens, fearful that somebody will get our stuff, or that maybe if we get more stuff, it'll mean that we're more important, or whatever it is. Our misuse of the law, which is using universal law, using our mind, the creative mind that we are given, from a place of fear, And when we use it from a place of fear, we create suffering. Because we are always in angst about whether the next thing that we want is going to be ours, or we think we'll never get it, or we think we have to get it from somebody else, or whatever it is. And it's a lack or a scarcity mentality, again, that's created by the misuse of universal law, the misperception of what we truly are and what life is. Yet even in the midst of all that is the presence of God. And I love Emma Curtis Hopkins' response to that. When she gets in, she says, when you get in a state of doubt and fear and whatever, you remind yourself that this too is good, this too is God, this too is for me, and I demand to see the blessing in it, to help ourselves get a shift of consciousness out of whatever seems to be stressing us, whatever the suffering seems to be, to get us out of that mind state, which is reactor state, and back into the creative mind, into remembering who we are and remembering the power of our word, the power of our intention, and the power that we have to bring new ideas and to bring truth, heaven on earth, through us and as us. So we have a superpower. We have a superpower available to us. It's important to keep remembering that. It is a superpower, universal mind, which is our mind. And so it's important that we are mindful of where we are placing our mind at any point in time. Are we focused on thinking that on lack and limitation? Or are we focused on possibilities, being possibilitarians? I love that term, being possibilitarians. So what we're calling for this month then is a holy, holy uprising. Holy with a WH, that means whole, entire, total. And holy, again, that's just another form. Holy and holy are kind of mean the same thing, but that wholeness, that truth of who we are, the entirety of the divine. Uprising, an uprising in consciousness. Swami Byandananda, or Steve Berman, called it an upwising. Remember that? An upwising, an uprising, an uprising in wisdom, which is the root cause of a better world, a better life, a better world. It's important that we keep in mind that that's where it starts, is within. It's an inner work that we do that creates outer change. And so it's important that we place no limits on what is possible in the divine. Again, possibilitarians, call yourself a possibilitarian, to remind yourself that you live in a state of possibility. That's who you are in truth. That's your superpower. So God, as unlimited being, is a field of all possibility and all potentiality. We talk about that all the time, which means that we are as well, since that divine presence is omnipresent, right here where I am, right where each of us is. And so our spiritual practices then become the vehicles: prayer, meditation, gratitude, visioning. All of those tools that we practice are the ways in which we align with that truth of our being, with that field of all possibility and all potentiality, drops away all the falsehood and gets us lined up with who we are in truth. And that means that we are preparing ourselves in consciousness for that evolutionary impulse that's already within us, which is to become freer, fuller, more expanded expressions of the Most High God. And here's the cool thing that happens. As we do that, we begin to be greater vessels, vehicles, or instruments of the very light and love of God, spreading light and love wherever we go, just truly radiating it, radiating that. And I don't know about you, but I can see when somebody's radiating something. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in their body language. That beautiful radiant energy is just so inviting and so almost intoxicating, but intoxicating in a good way to be around, because it transforms consciousness of all those who come into our presence. And so what happens then is we do our inner work, we begin to realize that externals are effects. They are the results of consciousness. And so if we want to change the effects, we have to change our consciousness, and we have to become greater vessels for the greater possibilities and the ideas in the mind of the divine that is our mind. We don't have to go out there seeking for it. It's already who we are in truth. We're like these points of consciousness in universal mind, inlets and outlets of divine ideas. And so then when we can see that our inner life becomes more real and bigger than our external circumstances. And that's why we can do that affirmation that Kelly led us in, which is to remember that I have no big problems. They're just effects. They're things that can be changed. And I know that the creative mind that I use, which is the mind of God, is more than that condition, can dissolve that condition, can transform that condition by transforming the mind. So I'd like to illustrate creative mind in process. And I love, again, the Optimist Daily that I get in my news, in my email every day, because it's full of all of the innovations and creative ideas that humankind is developing to support our planet. And this is one of the more recent ones. It was the researchers at the University of California had come up with this proposition. The proposition was to cover California's some 4,000 miles of canals. You know, they have all these canals that come from the high mountains where all the water is, down into all of the deserty type areas of California, 4,000 miles of canals. And they proposed to cover them all with solar panels. Think about that, solar panels. And there's multiple benefits of that. Not only do those solar panels provide clean energy, but they predict, or they calculate that it would save more than 65 billion gallons of water annually. And that's enough, they said, to irrigate 50,000 acres of farmland and to meet the annual needs of residential needs of over 2 million people. just by putting solar panels on top of the canals. In addition to that, the cooling effect of the water running under the panels keeps them cool in on those really hot days, and also when there are wildfires. The microgrid that are created by the canals offers energy resistance during wildfires and heat waves. And here's the other thing, using an existing infrastructure, which means using the existing canals to put solar panels on, will prevent 80,000 acres of farmable land and natural habitat from being used as solar energy farms. That's a no-brainer, right? Creative ideas, creative solutions. We use the same mind as those researchers. That same brilliance, that same creative genius is our mind. I love those examples. So it's important that we face the fear. And here's the thing. I know, I understand, because I struggle with it myself, but I know how uncomfortable it can be to get into conversations that are controversial, whether it's political conversations, whether it is conversations about racism, sexism, whatever it might be, all the different isms. While they can be challenging, you know, what I love about Centers for Spiritual Living, and we being a part of that, is that we're being proactive about those kinds of things, having the conversations, and every month in the diversity inclusion online Zoom programs that are open to all of us in the community, we can enter those conversations and we can learn, we can gather information about other cultures, other, you know, all the different things that are going on that can support us in being more compassionate and understanding and finding solution. So I'd like to illustrate an example of how this is happening on our planet right now. And this took place in June 2020. This was last summer. Many of you may know about this. A conservative Republican majority in the state of Mississippi worked together. So the Republicans, the majority Republicans, worked alongside with the Democrats to co-create legislation that finally eliminated the flag that they'd been using that had the Confederate symbol on it. And the Republican, this particular Republican, Representative Trey Lamar, who pushed for the flag change, said, "It was something I knew in my heart for a long time was the right thing to do." And the House Democratic leader, Representative Robert Johnson, said the vote and the discussion that led up to it, you know, all of the discussion about the effects that having a Confederate flag has on the Black American community. He said that conversation led up to help bridge racial divides within the legislature. And he said, "Some of my white colleagues have begun to understand and feel the same thing that I have been feeling for 61 years of my life. Compassion and understanding, yes, taking place in the political arenas." And Mississippi, by the way, was the last state to finally get rid of the Confederate flag. You know, those symbols that of a past that create a lot of distress to see those symbols posted and as, you know, as a state symbol. And so I'm just so grateful to know that these things are happening. And I think it's important for us to focus on some of these things that are happening, to realize there are changes taking place, even though, you know, we still see a lot of dissonance and a lot of misunderstanding, but to know that compassion and understanding and solution is possible. Remember, we are possibilitarians. So we face the fear of having those tough conversations. And we do the inner work to develop a heart of compassion and a desire to understand and a memory when we come up to somebody who has a different perspective than we do, that yes, this too is God that is standing before us. This person is the life of God. Their opinions may be different from ours, and we may think that their opinion is really harmful. However, if we continue to bump up against each other instead of look for solution, we're going to be at the same place where we've been for a long time. So it's really important to be willing to listen and to share our perspective authentically, and then work towards solution. And what I love is, again, our spiritual tools that we have to transform our own consciousness, to prepare ourselves. Spiritual mind treatment to me is la creme de la creme. It is a way in which I walk my own mind through spiritual truth, from what God is to realizing I am that, and then using the possibilitarian nature that I have, using my superpower to transform my own consciousness and to call in a higher level of consciousness of my fellow humans on the planet. So ultimately, love is the answer, right? We say that all the time. Understanding is the answer. And love is the universal solvent that dissolves all problems and reveals solutions. And then again, it's just this reminder of how powerful our spiritual practice is and how powerful attaining a state of love is. It goes back to the work of David Hawkins. He calibrated human consciousness from its lowest, which is shame, which calibrates from 1 to 20 on his scale. He kind of made an artificial scale to go with each level of consciousness from 1 to 1,000. And 1,000 is the highest, which is enlightenment, Buddha, Jesus, think of those high vibrational people. And he found that higher consciousness radiates, we've just talked about that, a beneficial and healing effect on the world, not just only in our immediate surroundings, but throughout the entire field of human consciousness. So using kinesiology, muscle testing, he created a chart that describes all the different levels of consciousness and their worldviews. And then also he showed that love is more powerful than hatred. And here's what he found, is that one individual at 500, which is the vibrational frequency of love, notice it's kind of halfway between full enlightenment and the lowest level of consciousness. One individual at 500 counterbalances 750,000 individuals who calibrate below 200. So 200 below is the negative range, and above 200 is the positive range. Counterbalances one individual. And when you get up to those levels of enlightenment, it's like millions of people that get counterbalanced. Love is more powerful than hatred. We need to remember that. We need to remember that. That is so important. And so bringing our love into any conversation is the most powerful thing we can do. And because of who we are and because of our dedication to our spiritual practice, we are changing human consciousness. We are changing the world. So I would like to conclude by just remembering the importance that in times of unrest, it's important for us to boldly meet the apparent absence of God with the truth of omnipresence. This too is good. This too is God. This too is for me. And I demand to see a blessing in it, and look for the blessing and look for the solution. So as we grow in love and compassion, And we are literally, truly the solution itself. So let's do a practice that we've done before, and yet it's such a good one to develop compassion and love. It's from our Buddhist brothers and sisters. It's the loving kindness meditation. I think they call it the metta meditation. And this is in total support, Virgie and Social Justice Initiative Ministry, in total support of what you're asking us to do this week. And Virgie will tell you about that in a few moments. But it's a way of offering love to ourselves and offering love to others. So close your eyes if you would, get settled in, find a comfortable position, relax your muscles, and take a few deep breaths. And imagine experiencing complete wellness and inner peace, bathing yourself in love for yourself. Exhaling all tension out of the body and breathing in love. And then silently after me, repeat, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. Then think of someone who might be suffering or angry or in kind of a divisive stance. And let's shower them with love. And so repeat after me in your own mind. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. Breathe. And now we're going to be all inclusive of our whole planet. And repeat after me, may we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. And I'm going to add to that, may we give and receive appreciation today. May we give and receive appreciation today. Let's breathe, take that in. Let's do what Marianne did. Let's tap our collarbones to get ourselves ready to open our eyes, come back to the room. And then say together, and so it is, namaste. Thank you, my friends. Have a beautiful day. And now I'm inviting Deb to come back again and shower us with her gifts of music.
Thank you, Reverend Kathleen. It was really heart-filling. Thank you. This is a beautiful song by Daniel Nemad called One Power. One power, one power, one power. There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it in every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus. angel wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, different names. But difference only dangerous when we forget that in our heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see such distances are never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashim, or Heaven's Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, and it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. It's what we are. One power, one power, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness, the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon for the love that's most deep. It's one power, one power. It's one power. It's what we are. It's one power, one power, one power. It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you all so much. So much. I think I'm bringing back Virgie. Virgie?
Yes, you are. That was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Daniel Neymad, for writing such a beautiful
Yeah. Thank you for
masterpiece.
singing it so beautifully. Hand
Thank you.
snaps. Yes. All right. So each week, the Social Justice Initiative Ministry shares a practice from the Association of Global New Thought for cultivating nonviolent mindset. I'm just vibrating right now, so I've got to calm myself down so I can read this stuff. Okay. So this week's practice is an excellent complement to what Reverend Kathleen is sharing with us. It's on understanding. We're going to take a look at understanding. Thich Nhat Hanh says, when you understand, you cannot help but love. And when you love, you naturally act in a way that can relieve the suffering of people. So this week, practice looking at all living beings with the eyes of compassion. She talked about that. And send a silent thought of love to 10 people this week. Go all out. Do more than 10 if you want. Okay. And then share your experience with someone. As you do this, remember, together we're learning to practice nonviolence, one step at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. And it is through our daily nonviolent choices and actions that each of us, in our own way, move the world in the direction of peace. All right, now it's time for our offering. If you've been inspired today, and I know you have, then now is the time to give thanks and generously give to the good work of CSL. And let's see, let's go over our offertory blessing. I'm going to read that. I want you to imagine that your intended blessing is in your hands, and then place that over your heart and say with me, divine love through me blesses and multiplies this offering. The Spirit gives abundantly. I receive thankfully and give again generously. This is the bounty of God, and I send it forth with wisdom and joy. Divine love bountifully supplies and increases this offering. I give freely and fearlessly, fulfilling the law of giving and receiving. You may send your offerings by PayPal or check by pressing the donate button on our website's homepage. You can click the link in our chat. We'll make sure that that's in there for you as well to make it as convenient as possible. Want to make a difference? Donate to the CSL Benevolence Fund. Simply mark it as Benevolence Fund. And to receive financial support, should you find yourself needing support, contact one of the Board of Trustee members. Our contact information is in the newsletter, should be on the website, but I'll double check to make sure that no matter where you check, you can get to one of us if you need us. Please type prayer in the chat if you desire after service prayer with our beloved Mary Ann. Note that you can also send your prayer requests by phone or email to Peggy Frymore, and the practitioners will pray for you for 1 week, and you can submit your prayers as many times as you need to. And now back to our songstress extraordinaire, Deb.
Thank you, Virgie.
You're welcome.
So we're going to close today with the song that you all know very well. I wrote this song in 2005. I've been to Israel twice, and I hosted a group of Arab, Israeli, and Jewish Israeli teenagers for a big 10-day tour in America in 2006. And so I wrote this song for the big grand finale, and we performed it all during their tour at the National Constitution Center in front of 500 people, singing for peace through friendship. And we've actually made a beautiful video with CSL on this song. So I have so many Arab, Israeli, and Jewish Israeli friends, and I'm really sending my love and prayers to them during this really difficult time, as well as through the whole world. So let's all sing for the world right now. And join me on The Time Has Come. The time has come. The time has come. All the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. There's a cloud on the horizon. There's a star up in the sky. I believe in answers for every question why. Love and understanding, find the light comes pouring down, the truth cannot be washed away. The time has come, the time has come for all the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. I can't speak your tongue, and you don't know my name, but the light in our eyes is shining just the same. With doubt still in our minds, but hope here in our hearts. One friendship at a time, well, that's the place to start. The time has come, the time has come for all the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. If not now, then when? This day won't come again. No, if not me, then who? Reach out my hand to you. The time has come, the time has come, all the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. The time has come. The time has come for all the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. Thank you so much, so much. One more Sunday with you here, and then I will see you in Delaware. Yay. And I would love to bring back our beloved Reverend Kathleen.
Thank you so much, Deb. Oh, I love that song. So inspiring. So my friends, I just wanted to remind you, it wasn't in our announcements, but it's happening next week, is our hike. We have a hike next week with Brett, and I believe it's Judge Morse State Park. Is that right? No?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Okay, well, we will make sure and get the information out to you like in a separate e-blast as a reminder, and also remind you at next week's service. But be ready to go hiking next week, next Sunday at 2:00. Okay, so let's conclude with our final prayer. Let's bring this beautiful co-creative process known as our Sunday celebration service to a conclusion by a deep reminder of who we are and whose we are. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this other one. Good and more good. This is by Ernest Holmes. So repeat after me. Good and more good is mine.
Good and more good is mine.
And ever increasing good is mine.
Ever increasing good is mine.
There is no limit to the good that is mine.
There is no limit to the good that is mine.
Everywhere I go, I see the good.
Everywhere I go, I see the good.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I experience
I
it.
experience it.
Good presses itself against me,
Good presses itself against me,
expresses itself in me,
expresses itself in me,
and multiplies itself around me.
multiplies around me.
Using the power of our word, we can invite this to happen. So let's remember that. Let's invite it in, this thing called good and more good, by focusing on it, and celebrate it and invite it in with a powerful yes. And so it is. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. Enjoy.
Okay, everybody. We are now, just everybody say wave goodbye as I turn off the recording. And anybody, you can turn on your videos. We'd love to see you.